So I have this tool that I teach in my Dharma Coaching Institute, which is our 6-month certification at Highest Self Institute, all about becoming a Dharma soul purpose coach. So you actually become a certified soul purpose coach, learning all of these practices for yourself, first of all. What is my Dharma? What is my soul's purpose? Who am I? How am I meant to express it? What careers are in alignment for me? What are my limiting beliefs blocking me from it? How do I best show up? What are my superpowers? You learn all of this. You are one-on-one coached every single week by people in the program and practicing coaching with them. And for the last 2 months, we teach you on how to make a business doing this. And we've coached over 2,500 students right now. Hundreds of them are full-time coaches making more money in their coaching practice today than they did in their existing jobs. And for example, Jill, who we've now hired, she's one of our master coaches, at first got, I want to say $30,000 raise at her existing company, becoming the purpose coach internally, has gone on to write a book, host retreats, create a mastermind, and be our master coach at Highest Self Institute, making more money than she ever has before, less hours, doing what she loves. She has 2 young kids. So I share this because I didn't know these stories were possible, right? Like I had never met anyone living their Dharma. It was never in my world. And it was through meeting people and hearing these stories that I realized, wow, if she, and by the way, she was just our student, in our first class, and within 3 years is making over 6 figures doing what she loves. And so I share this, and she's just one example of, I've had Kenya here on the podcast that within 10 weeks of graduating is making $10K a month. And she was a social worker making $50,000 a year. Now making over $120,000 as a Dharma coach. Again, within 10 weeks of graduating. And I'm not saying that's everyone's journey. I'm just sharing with you experiences because I feel like our mind only tells us what's possible based on what we know, right? And we see this is what everyone in my town has done. This is what everyone in my friend group has done. This is what the people in my family have done. So this is just what's possible for me. And we put these upper limits on ourselves. Right? So we have this transformation. We have a divorce, a health crisis, an on your knees dark night of the soul moment. I talk a lot about dark nights of the soul. One of my songs is called Sexy Dark Night of the Soul. I'll link that music video below. It's a fun one. It's about my own dark night of the soul after my divorce. We all go through it. We all go through multiple dark nights of the soul in our lifetime. But most people, 95% of people, they feel like shit. They're sad, they're angry, they're scared. And then they just cling on to something else for comfort rather than letting themselves be in the abyss, in the unknown, in the, I have no idea what's to come next, but I know that version of me is dead and gone, dead and gone. Oh, so when we are able to surrender into the unknown and say, Spirit, guide me, show me what is next. Because I know that you chose to take me out of that reality because there's something so much greater for me that I can't yet see for myself. So lead me. Lead me through the path of synchronicity. Lead me through flow. Lead me through ease. Lead me through the people that I meet and the conversations that I have. The universe starts whispering to you all the time. And all of a sudden you realize the universe is this alive thing that you're always in communication with. And you are seeing more angel numbers and more signs and your exact animal all the time. It's like your life becomes a freaking movie. You're like, is this real life? Like, has it always been like this? And it was, you just weren't listening. But that dark night of the soul, that on your knees moment, that breakdown, that divorce, that depression, that job firing, that shitty situation you were in, cracked you the fuck open. So you can now hear it and feel it and believe it. And then all of a sudden we're receptive and we're hearing it. And the universe is like, okay, you're hearing me. Let me send you some more. Meet the right person, says the right thing. You end up 10 steps ahead, which would have taken you 5 years to figure out, took you 5 days. A realization that would have taken you 10 years of therapy, you have in one sitting. You have on a walk you take. And that is actually how life is meant to be lived. We are meant to live in a state of flow. We are meant to live in joy. We are meant to live in synchronicity. That is actually the norm. That is how life was designed. It's just these systems that we are in of this is a job and everyone hates it. And you must suffer all day until, we've normalized that. We've normalized living in karma rather than dharma. Living in karma is shitty situations keep happening. Life keeps getting harder. Everything feels like it's going against you, which, by the way, is not the universe out to get you, but it's rather the universe putting these like painful situations on your path to cause you to redirect. I think of karma as the bounded barricades on the side of the highway, right? If you start going off the sides of the highway, you're going to hit those barricades and that like weird squiggly thing on the road. And you're like, it's not out to get you. Like, they're not trying to fuck you up. Like, they're trying to say, don't go over here, honey. The highway's over here. Your destination's yonder. Stay on track. But most of us, again, we just keep going off road. We just keep on staying in the shitty terrain, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And everyone we know is out there. And we've normalized that. We've normalized depression. We've normalized insomnia. We've normalized anxiety. We've normalized all those things. I'm not saying that the average person does have all those things, but it's not normal. Everyone having it does not mean it's normal. It doesn't mean it's how humans are meant to live. You are not meant to live in anxiety. Anxiety is a stress response that you pick up because your society has conditioned you to believe that if you are not thinking the worst case situation at all times, you're going to fall behind and you're going to get hurt and you're going to have a fear response. I really loved the movie Inside Out too. I'm going to shout that movie out. Whoever made that movie, I hope you fucking listen to this podcast. I would be like amazed. You're a celebrity to me. I don't know who you are. It was a great movie, and I never watched Inside Out once, so you don't need to watch it to watch Inside Out 2. That movie, it personifies these different emotions. And you see this like little girl, she was like operating from joy. Like joy was like the main emotion that was like riding the steering command ship thing that they had. But then she hit puberty and anxiety took over. So instead of this brings me joy, it's, well, if we don't do this, then the popular kids won't be our friend. And then we're going to sit alone. And then we're not going to get into a good college and we're going to be alone forever. And like doomsday prediction. And anxiety, she's a conniving motherfucker. She tells you all these situations. It's going to be like this. It's going to be like that. And you're like, shit, oh my God, what if all of that actually happens? Let me push the brakes right now. Let me choose the fear response because I'm so scared of that thing happening that let me live in fear right now. So do you see that? We're so afraid of something fearful happening in the future that we're just living in fear right now. And then we're perpetually living in fear because we're always living in fear of the future. And that day never actually comes where we're living in joy because we're letting anxiety steer the ship. Now, I am not demonizing anxiety. I do believe there's an intelligence to anxiety. I do believe there's an innateness of the human condition that we do tend to, future predict. And that's the nature of the mind. But that doesn't mean we have to adhere to it. That's why meditation came to be in like every single ancient culture. That's why we have spiritual practice. That's why we have all the tools and modalities that we have, is to not believe all of the stories of the mind, because the truth is it's just a story. It might be a really good story, might be really revelatory, it might actually happen. But you know what? You living in fear of that thing happening is the only thing that's actually going to guarantee it to happen.